crafty friends, I'm Lien and I'm so happy to join you again on the Crafty Meraki YouTube channel. Today I am back with another bright and bold floral card, and this one is really quick to make because instead of coloring I am ink blending it. I'm starting out with the Love Forever stamp by Crafty Meraki. This is a really gorgeous, super large floral stamp. You can easily fill a background with this. And I am stamping it on a quite large sheet of white cardstock. This is Clairefontaine DCP 250 GSM cardstock, and I'm using Versamark embossing ink for this. I can then emboss that image with bright white superfine embossing powder by Wow, and I will heat set that off screen, and then I can get right into the ink blending. Now for the ink blending, I am showing the entire thing, no cuts, but I have sped it up quite a bit, as you can see. In real time, I think I spent a little over 10 minutes ink blending this, but that's the focal point of this card really, so it didn't really take me long at all. If you think about it, if that's the hardest part of your card is the ink blending, then it's totally worth it to spend a little extra time on it. I'm using Pinkfresh Studio inks and I'm using 5 colors in total, but I realized that you can totally skip the orange ink I've used. You don't need it because the pink over the yellow will just make orange anyway. I just did it to create a smoother blend, so it's easier to use one more ink, but you really don't have to. I will list all the colors I used, including links to them to purchase them, in the description below. Now what I'm actually doing with this ink blending to color in this image, since there's no matching stencil, because not all products come with matching stencils, I am just going over the lines and I'm not worried about it. I think it creates a really gorgeous effect. It feels like the image is glowing almost. So I do go outside of the lines. You could use more detailed blending brushes than I am using. I don't have any, but I know Altenew has some, and I will try to find some alternatives for you and link them in the description below. Now because this is white embossing powder, it's actually really good to go outside of the lines because that shows off the line art more. And one more thing, because this is white embossing powder, the ink sometimes stains the embossing powder a little bit. Not just lays over top of it and you can buff it off, which I do all the time while I'm doing this, during this process. So I go in a couple of times with a dry cloth and wipe off any excess embossing powder. But the pink ink does stain the embossing powder a little bit in a way that you can't rub off. Some inks do this. I don't have a lot of inks that do, but this Raspberry Bliss ink does do it. Just so you know. Now I die cut this with the 3-Room Studio Mini Slimline die by Crafty Meraki. I temporarily adhered the frame in place so I could know exactly where to glue down my inside pieces, and then I propped the frame up on some foam tape. And then to finish this card off, I am using some Pinkfresh Studio products, but these pieces are pieces I've left over from previous projects, so these didn't take me any time to make at all. This is the Small Butterflies stamp and die set. I stamped it in Versamark ink onto acetate, and then I gold embossed this with Wow Gold Rich Pale embossing powder. I die cut it with the coordinating dies, and I also die cut this out of vellum without stamping on it first. So each butterfly I'm using here has a vellum shadow to rest on. I also added a gold heat embossed sentiment. This is from the Simple Sentiments stamp and die set by Pinkfresh Studio. I chose purple for my matching envelope. I will leave a link to an envelope calculator if you have this punch board down below, so you know exactly what size envelope you have to make for your size card. Now with these mini slimline envelopes, the top and bottom flaps are a little bit too large, so they overlap and the envelope won't close. So just trim them off with a paper trimmer and then adhere the envelope together with some Bearly Art Precision Craft Glue. Now I'm putting that in my MISTI and I'm going to stamp this Love Forever stamp again on the envelope. I'm going for a purple ink by Pinkfresh Studio to stamp on this for a nice tone-on-tone effect, and I stamped that twice to get a nice impression. And that's it really. Not a lot to this card, but I think it has a wow effect because of all those bold colors. I really like how this turned out with the subtle gold butterflies and the coordinating gold sentiment, and I'm really pleased that I went for purple for this envelope. It's not a color I usually grab, especially not for a matching envelope when there is no purple in my card, but I think it worked out fine. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I hope you liked this card and envelope. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up on this video and leave your thoughts in the comments. I will definitely read them. I really appreciate your comments, so if you have any questions, leave them down below. You can also subscribe to the Crafty Meraki YouTube channel, where I post every week, but also a lot of other designers post some amazing videos on this channel for amazing Crafty Meraki inspiration. We'd love for you to join us. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.